Welcome to episode 43 of Two Guys, One Sport, and Happy New Year. Happy 2018. My name is Chris.
I'm George. Happy New Year, everybody.
It's gonna be hopefully a good one.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Got off to a good start so far, Graps-wise.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say so. Yeah, overall net positive.
Yeah, net positive. I mean, Roman and Joe had a pretty great match on Raw.
Yeah, I'd say so. It was pretty good.
SmackDown was grumble. And we have Wrestle Kingdom.
SmackDown existed. NXT
was there. I did not see NXT.
NXT had a pretty good night.
I'm sure it did. It's NXT. It was our show of the year for a reason.
Yep. And we had Wrestle Kingdom also, yes.
Fantastic.
To go along with all the other...
Speaking of more awards, I am angling to get a ballot for the Voices of Wrestling Match of the Year.
Okay.
Trying to get an official ballot because I am a passing acquaintance with one of the guys who does the podcast because we are both men of Chicago, much like Leo McGarry. So I'm trying to get us a ballot, a show ballot. When it comes out, we'll have to do a little powwow for our best matches of 2017.
All right.
Let's kind of take like 20 minutes, half an hour or so once the ballot comes out this week or next week, if we get one, and then kind of piece it together. So keep that in the back of your brain. Form a top 10 list, and we'll kind of go from there, you know?
All right. Well, just be aware. We've got ourselves a pretty busy January.
We do.
Next week, we're going to have our good friend, Mister Doctor Senju from Shootin da Breeze, get as a guest host on our show. He will be giving us his recap of Wrestle Kingdom from being live in person at the event at the Tokyo Dome. I talked to him this morning. This morning for me, in the evening for him. After he had left the Tokyo Dome, and he was euphoric. So I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty good recap from him. So that's next week. And then 2 weeks after that, the 25th of January, we are going to have our big panel show to preview the Royal Rumble. We're going to have guests and luminaries from other podcasts, people who are just as smart and eloquent as us, and maybe even more so. Who knows? Here to give us all of their wonderful takes and predictions for the Royal Rumble, the first big pay-per-view of the year for WWE, and the beginning of the road to Wrestlemania. So January is going to be quite the busy month for us here on Two Guys, One Sport, and it's going to be a good one.
Are you excited for the pointing to the Wrestlemania sign?
No.
It's coming real soon, Chris.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's coming.
It's stupid.
It's coming. When I go to Wrestlemania, I will Snapchat a picture of me pointing to the sign just for you.
You want to know how bad we are at this podcasting thing? I don't even have your Snapchat. How about that?
we should rectify that.
Yeah,
I don't even know what my Snapchat name is. I just have it on my phone, and I click it, and then I take stupid Snapchats.
See, that's the benefit of having the same username for literally everything.
Oh, it's great.
For me, I mean, my username is the same everywhere, except for whatever reason, my username on Steam is different. So everybody trying to find me on Steam, they're all like, I can't find Crazy Chris on Steam. It's like, yeah, nope.
Keep looking.
I fucked that one up. My bad. But anyway, we've got all the good stuff today.
Are you ready? Here's my Snapchat. You ready? Real easy. Gia Savas.
It's the same as your Twitter. How about that?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't set it up. My sister set it up. So,
she forced you into it. Nice.
Yeah. Well, we were on vacation a couple years ago. She's like, you need a Snapchat and an Instagram. And I'm like, I don't have either one of those. She goes, okay, at least get a Snapchat. So
yeah. All right, cool. All right. So while we're doing that shindig-a-majig, we got matches of the week.
Yeah, I have a real topical one.
All right. Well, why don't we save the topical one for a second? I'll go first.
Sure.
Because my match of the week, in many ways, is we're closing out 2017 in many ways here, and I'm going to do a match that was a closing of 2017 for one of my favorite promotions, Stardom. They had their final show of 2017 on Christmas Eve at Korakuen Hall. And that show was also Yokobito's retirement show. So usually when somebody is retiring, they like to send them out on a bang, on a big deal, big match, something that really is going to leave a good a good memory in people's minds of those last moments of a girl's professional wrestling career before they head off to do whatever it is that people do after they retire from professional wrestling. And this was certainly no exception, as Yoko Bito's final match of her career was a tag team match that joined her and Marvelous Women's Wrestling standout Takumi Iroha versus the team of Meiko Satomura and Toni Storm. And wow, I just watched this match. I queued it up right at 8:30 and watched this match. Man, this was a highly charged affair. Yoko and Meiko have never faced each other in the past. So they started the match. First time ever in the ring facing each other. And when you have two kicking specialists facing each other in the ring, what's the very first thing that happens? Well, you try to kick each other and see who kicks harder. And as it turns out, they're both actually really freaking good at kicking each other. So, switch to grappling and striking, and eventually work their way back to kicking each other until they both simultaneously go for a roundhouse kick and wind up just kicking each other in the shins as hard as they fucking can. And both are left hobbling for a second before going and tagging in their partners. Now, Takumi Iroha, I don't know a lot about her, but I do know that she wrestled Yoko Bito earlier in the year for the Wonder of Stardom title to a 30-minute draw. And after watching her in this match, I can see why, because she and Toni Storm immediately went into one of the greatest exhibitions of catch wrestling that I've ever seen. Just going hold for hold, back and forth. The exchanges on this were the kind of thing that would make Zack Sabre Jr. and Jack Gallagher proud. It was beautiful. Like some of the best grappling that I have ever seen. It was amazing. And they also evenly matched. Eventually we get back to Yoko and Meiko, and from that point there, once they get tagged back to the original two, it just breaks down into chaos. The rest of the action of the match.
Toru Yano and Hiroki Goto were there?
No, not in the least. Why must you do this? But yeah, no. After that, it just breaks down into madness because it was in the New Japan matches, our good buddy Reverend Kane, he calls that one phase of the match the everyone does something cool phase of the match. Well, the entire last 15 minutes of this match was everyone does something cool. But not like in a spot fest kind of way. It was like the natural transitions, good moments of tags, and just a real back and forth affair between the two teams. Lots of really good double team offense. Takumi Iroha was flying around the ring at top speed. She is a joy to watch. I'm gonna have to look up more of her stuff because she is quite impressive. Meiko Satomura, obviously, a specimen of amazing wrestling. That spinning heel kick that she hits coming off the ropes is devastating. I'm left in shock when I see that. There was one moment, though, where she hit that on Iroha and then went for another move, and Iroha got up and just kicked her right in the side of the face. And I audibly yelped in pain on behalf of Meiko Satomura because that looked so stiff. It looked like she just got her clock cleaned on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's a rare moment when Toni Storm does not make herself the absolute star of the match because she's just that good. But like everybody in this match was incredible to watch. There were no bad moments throughout the entirety of the match. I'm not going to recap the whole thing because, like I said, it was madness. I will, however, go to the finish. The finish is probably one of my favorite moments that I've seen in a very long time from Stardom. Because if you recall from an earlier match of the week that I did, and probably most of you don't because, we've been doing this thing for 43 fucking episodes, and who the hell can remember what matches of the week we've done for every single one of them. But one of my earlier matches of the week was the finals of the 5-Star Grand Prix between Toni Storm and Yoko Bito. And the finish to this match was a beautiful callback to that match, whereby Tony and Mako had gotten Iroha out of the ring and were lining up their finishers on Yoko. Tony hits Yoko with the spike pile driver, goes for the cover. Yoko kicks out at 1, and
Nice.
It's just like fighting spirit. She's her eyes are glassy, but she's like, nope, I'm not giving into this just yet. So Tony, in utter shock, is just like, okay, spike pile driver, spike pile driver, spike pile driver, 3 in a row, and then goes for the pin and gets the win. Which was basically exactly how their match in the 5-Star Grand Prix ended as well, which was also an excellent match, albeit a lot shorter, and obviously also a singles match. But a great callback moment. That gave me chills. That was really awesome to see. After that, a lot of respect shown, obviously, being that it was Yoko's final match. Handshakes all around, respect shown to Yoko for her career. Toni Storm made a challenge to Mako for a singles match between the two of them in 2018, so we can look forward to that happening sometime soon, which will be fucking ridiculously good. And then just all of the accolades and congratulations for Yoko Bito from the entire roster of Stardom, all the girls coming to the ring, giving her little presents and goodbye, farewell messages and all this stuff. And it was emotional. Everybody was crying. And then Kairi Sane shows up, and then I'm crying, and it's just, oh my God. The greatest farewell thing that they could do for her, especially bringing Kairi back, that was really awesome. Because Yoko was one of the first people to come into Stardom. She trained in the original class at the dojo back in 2011. So she was a pillar of the company when they were in their infancy. And, then she came back in 2016 and, continued to be a pillar of the company up until now her retirement. So this was well-deserved farewell for her, and really, really great stuff. I really enjoyed watching this play out, and it was a really fun match and ceremony to watch. And if you have Stardom World, I highly recommend it. Definitely worth the time. If not just for the match itself, but also the goodbye ceremony and all that. Really good stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right.
I had a different match of the week.
Yeah.
As a recommendation from a friend of the show, Taker's Minion.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll it to next week.
Okay.
It is timeless, and it is a lot of fun, the match that he recommended. So I will roll to next week. I came up with this match of the week, around 6:50 Central Time this morning, around 7:50 Eastern Time.
Yeah.
Around 11 o'clock Japan time, Tokyo time. My match of the week is the main event of WrestleMania 14. Stone Cold Steve Austin beating Shawn Michaels with special guest enforcer Mike Tyson.
Funny, I was expecting something else, but I'll tell you.
My match, and let me set the scene real quick. I'm not going to go through the match itself. The match itself is kind of bland because Michaels had 2 herniated discs in his lower back that he suffered after landing on a casket hinge funny in a casket match against The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble. He was so fucked up, he couldn't work a match between the Rumble and WrestleMania. He just, not a house show match, not a Raw match, nothing. He just came out, would cut promos with Triple H, and that's it. He couldn't move. He could not move. And every time he took a bump, he was deaf. He was deaf, the poor guy. I wouldn't wish back pain on my worst enemy. So it was just the fact that he got through this match and it wasn't a work rate disaster. I mean, it was fine. 3 stars, 3.5 stars. Right. is a testament to his professionalism at a time when he had almost no professionalism because he was snorting and smoking everything under the sun. But that's not what I want to talk about. let me set the scene. You had a incredibly over anti-hero babyface whose ascension to the top of the mountain had been a year in the making since he lost at WrestleMania 13 against Bret Hart in a match that I've done before on this show.
Right.
Going against the champion, who was a babyface tweener, we'll say, in his own right.
Yeah.
Kind of heelish, sometimes kind of not. He was the company guy. He was the Hall of Famer in his own right. He was a bit of a draw in his own right. He was Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler until he blew his back out.
Right.
The incredibly over anti-hero babyface won the match and propelled the company to new heights and was the biggest draw the industry had seen in 15 years. After delaying his push, Steve Austin's push, they waited until the perfect moment, and in the middle of the ring, he countered a super kick into a stunner and pinned Shawn Michaels and won the belt. And the Fleet Center erupted because their guy had won. Sometimes wrestling's really easy, Chris. And sometimes you get the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 12.
We'll get there. We'll get to that. We'll get to that at the end of the show.
Like,
there
picture the WWF if they had decided to run it back with Shawn Michaels for another year. Now, in fairness, they had no choice. Shawn Michaels could not work at all. He was between the back and the drugs and his own personal non-drug issues that he has been more than open about. He was a disaster. And Kaz Okada is not a disaster. So there is a big caveat there. But I was talking to friend of the show, Vidance, and that was the analogy I came up with.
Oh, you got to talk to the supercomputer. I was missing him.
He's very strange. Now and again, he jumps he slides into my DMs and we talk for a little bit, and then I don't hear from him for like 2 weeks. He comes and goes like the wind. He's like Commissioner. It's like every now and again I throw up the Biden signal, know, and then like my Commissioner Gordon, and sometimes he shows up and sometimes he doesn't. But
I was missing him today. I really would have liked to have gotten his take on things. I would have loved to discuss that with him. So.
That was the analogy we came up with. I said, imagine if Austin had lost at WrestleMania, and he said, I don't have to imagine it. I saw it. Well, we'll get there. But that was my match of the week. Was the coronation of Steve Austin after a year-plus build, culminating in a euphoric crowd willing their guy to win and jump-starting the business. And, WWE likes to write this narrative about what won them the wrestling war. Steve Austin won them the wrestling war. DX driving a tank had nothing to do with it. I was there. I was there. Lots of people were there. Don't let them rewrite this shit. Steve Austin won them the war. And Steve Austin won them the war because he was the champion. And he was coronated champion at the right time, at the right show. I mean, not a perfect analogy, again, because Michaels had no choice. But there's a reason it's the first thing I thought of when I watched that match. So
that's fair.
Let's get to it, my friend.
Yes, indeed.
I will be upfront with my listeners and you. I have seen all of the last two matches in their entirety, and I have seen bits and pieces of the rest of the card. So you're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting early on, and I will jump in with what I've seen and what I liked.
All right. That's fine. Because I was an idiot and stayed up all night watching this.
First of all, are you snowed in? Are you okay weather-wise?
We're snowed in. I mean,
are you safe? You have water and soup and bourbon?
Yeah, I mean, I got Chinese from the Chinese place that's 50 feet from my front door for dinner, so that's fine. And the bodegas are all open around us. It's not like it's not desolate conditions. I mean, there's about a foot of snow on the ground, but people shoveled and I can get around to the essential places in my neighborhood. And power's on. I've got internet access because I'm here talking to you fine people. And yeah, I mean, I'm doing all right weather-wise.
Foot of snow's nothing. I thought it was worse.
Physical health-wise, in case you haven't been able to hear from my blowing my nose repeatedly so far, I'm definitely getting sick with something. I don't know what, but I'm definitely getting sick. So you're gonna probably notice at various points in time when George is talking, I'll mute my mic because I probably have to sneeze. I'll probably be having to stop to blow my nose and or sneeze a fair number of times during the course of the show. So just ask you all to bear with me today because the show must go on even when one of the hosts is feeling like ass. So there you go. I do it for you fine people because I love you.
We love you too, Chris. Speaking on behalf of these fine people.
Thank you.
And I'm glad the bodegas are open. Then you can run and get some, Oreos or something to make you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the walk over to get my lunch, which consisted of a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a Hero, was fun, slipping and sliding on the ice, but I made it there, and I made it back. That's what matters.
What's that?
As long as I can get into my car tomorrow morning, because I'm sure I'll have to go to work tomorrow, as long as my car has not been, frozen shut by an impenetrable layer of ice, I'll be okay. That's really all that matters.
Awesome.
All right. So, yeah, I stayed up the whole night, watched this show. I don't think any of you came into my Twitch stream and were hanging out with me, but I was streaming on Twitch while I was watching this. So if you did come into my Twitch chat, you could probably hear the Japanese announcer team and the match action in the background of my Twitch stream. And in fact, the VOD is still up. So if you go over to twitch.tv/crazychris576, you can watch me streaming half asleep. Half asleep playing Borderlands and Hearthstone. With Wrestle Kingdom on in the background.
Awesome.
No video, only audio no video of Wrestle Kingdom, only audio because I didn't want to get hit with the sweet copyright strikes. But still a good one, a good time, a fun time for all. So we'll start from the beginning, which is the New Japan Rumble on the pre-show. The field for this year's New Japan Rumble in alphabetical order consisted of Bushi, Chase Owens, Cheeseburger, David Finlay, Delirious, El Desperado, Gino Gambino, Henare, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, Jushin Thunder Liger, Katsuyori Kitamura, Leo Tonga, Manabu Nakanishi, Masahito Kakihara, Satoshi Kojima, Taka Michinoku, Tiger Mask 4, Yoshihashi, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yuji Nagata, and Yujiro Takahashi.
Fun crowd.
Basically, everybody from the roster.
By the way, Cheeseburger being unbelievably over in Japan always makes me happy.
Yeah,
he's so over, and he only shows up for the Rumble. Yep,
that's all you need him for.
That's it.
You throw him in the Rumble and then a tag match and New Year Dash where he can do some funny comedy shit, and that's all you need from Cheeseburger for the whole year.
I want Cheeseburger in the G1. I really don't.
You really don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he's, every now and again, wrestling needs to not take itself super seriously.
Yeah.
And the Rumble's fine.
I will say this, though.
I almost wish the Andre was like this format.
Yeah. It was a little bit more.
Save the, they haven't done a lot of the super nostalgia run-ins for the real Royal Rumble in a while.
Yeah.
They haven't done, they used to oh my God, here's Mick Foley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's Roddy Piper, whatever. They haven't done that in a while in the actual Rumble in like 3-4 years.
Yeah, but I think a couple of years ago, I think in the 2015 Rumble, I'm not sure. I think in the 2015 Rumble, the fucking Boogeyman showed up.
Yeah, but I can't think of any in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
that are clearly,
Yeah, clearly.
And I know the Andre the Giant this year they have like the Tonka and Shaq showed up, so I would be okay with the Andre being more of like this format where like old guys from the past and like random retired people show up and do wacky spots,
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like Christian can make an appearance or whomever, assuming he can get cleared.
Yeah. A couple of things to notice about this match, about the Rumble, just a couple of outside observations. One, Delirious and Cheeseburger being the only ROH talent in this really shows just how low in the totem pole ROH is. Because
in the Rumble or in general?
In the four company partnership that is New Japan, ROH, CMLL, and Rev Pro.
Well, Cody.
I suppose. I mean, all things considered,
Cody, Marty Scurll, right? Isn't he got a part-time? Isn't he weird talent? Isn't he part Ring Honor?
I mean, the talent exchange is a different thing. I'm just talking about in terms of the fact that.
Oh, you mean like actual full-blown Ring Honor guys?
Yeah, and normally there are some actual.
Yeah, normally Adam Cole last year. What's his name? Kyle O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking down the roster. Is War Machine a primer? No, not really. Not anymore.
Yeah,
they're not Ring of Honor.
The real thing to take away here is that the only reason why Delirious was even in Japan for this is because he was at the Stardom show on 1/3, January 3rd, presenting the Women of Honor title belts and announcing the rest of the Stardom women who would be competing in the tournaments for Women of Honor, who we'll be talking about next week. But yeah, he was there to present the belt, and he was there with Mandy Leon, and I guess Cheeseburger made the trip with him for this. Normally they would have more of the other full-time Ring of Honor folks, like maybe Silas or the Briscoes or any of those dudes also show up for the Rumble, but none of them really came. Instead, we had a couple of young lions,
New Japan guys, a lot of young lions. I'm looking at this list. The Dregs of Chaos, Bullet Club, Suzuki Gun.
Of note,
exactly what we thought this would be.
Of note, when talking about the Dregs, this was the first appearance of the newest member of Bullet Club, Gino Gambino, who is from Australian promotion. I have to look it up because I don't remember.
He doesn't even have a little blue thing on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Because
I think Australian or New Zealand.
No, he's from he's from Melbourne, which is Australia.
I knew he was from Oceania. I didn't know which one off the top of my head.
Yeah, but he was personally invited into the Bullet Club by Bad Luck Fale when Fale and a couple of other New Japan guys were down in Australia for part of their show.
Fale's got that school in New Zealand, right, or something like that.
Yeah, he's got a
wrestling school.
Yeah, wrestling school in New Zealand, yes. So this was Gambino's first official appearance as part of the main Bullet Club roster.
Because that's what the Bullet Club needs is more people.
Yeah. And this was he and Leo Tonga, being the two newest members of Bullet Club, were half of the representation of Bullet Club in the Rumble. The other half being.
I'll say this about Leo Tonga: he's got better. He's still green as fuck. But I mean, when he was like doing the three-way tags with his two
gorillas
buddies, he was like, thank you, I couldn't think of the word. He was like super green, and now he's like less green, So he's getting better. He's putting the work in, which is nice. I mean, he's still got a ways to go.
Yep,
miles and miles to go before I sleep. You know what I'm saying? But he's got a ways to go. But he is showing improvements.
Yeah. This was also some of the first main roster action for Henare, who we last saw as part of World Tag League, teaming with Togi Makabe. So this was his latest introduction to the New Japan crowd. So that's a sign for him that he is definitely progressing out of the dojo. The structure of this was really weird. A lot of times multiple dudes got pinned at the same time and knocked out. A lot of times dudes got pinned within seconds of each other and got knocked out. So I don't think there was ever a moment where there were more than 6 guys in the ring throughout the entirety of this.
I'm okay with that.
The ending moments, the last elimination was Masahito Kakihara last eliminating Cheeseburger by pinfall with an STO. I have no idea who Masahito Kakihara is.
He is a. Do you know who Yoshihiro Takayama is? The guy who got paralyzed, who had one of the best shoot fights of all time. He is a contemporary of him in the 90s, a cancer survivor who retired because he had a bout of cancer, and he announced on the show that he beat cancer. So props to him. And he also announced that he is helping raise money for Takayama, who is paralyzed from the neck down after taking a really routine like sunset flip or schoolboy or something very basic that just went horribly awry. And he announced that he was there to present a check to Takayama. And apparently, like, a bunch of Americans raised like $8,000 or something for Takayama on Twitter and gave the money to Minoru Suzuki. Gave the money to Minoru Suzuki backstage at the Dome, which, I mean, props to those guys because he's going to need a lifetime of medical care. And thankfully, Japan, you know, being a first world country that isn't the U.S., has a form of medicine for people like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still you still have to pay for, you know, nursing and stuff. So it's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
So props to I keep saying props. Takayama getting the money, getting a fundraiser in his honor is a nice touch. And Kakayara coming back after beating cancer, is also a nice touch. So the Rumble itself, the parts I saw were whatever. I mean,
it's
the New Japan Rumble. It's like it's not. I am not a Battle Royal fan in general. The Rumble's cool if you're there. I had a blast at the Rumble because you get the countdown and oh my God, so and so is next. Oh no, it's actually so and so. It's a lot of fun, but like the actual match quality is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Like I expect the Royal Rumble to be fun, but I expect the match quality to be kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Because that's just Battle Royals are kind of shitty.
Yeah. And this also disproves my my prediction from last week. I feel like it's going to
I said Kojima or God, I was way off.
Well, my prediction that whoever wins is gonna be the subject of a sustained push coming off of that win. I have, unless they really surprise me, I am mostly suspecting that this was just going to be a feel good moment.
This was I'm pretty sure this was enough
for Kakihara and Takayama. And I expect that
Kakihara's got to be in his late 40s. Yeah, he's 45. Yeah. He's not.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at his cage match before we went on the air. I mean, he had one match in Big Japan last year. He had this one match in New Japan, and that's the last action he's been in since 2012.
Yeah, he had cancer.
Yeah, but even before that, like he only had.
Yeah, no, he was not. It was not. I mean, this is not a Kenta Kobashi where Kenta Kobashi was working 100 matches a year for Noah and then got cancer. This is not. I mean, this guy was already on the downswing. Of his career.
He hadn't done anything from like 2007 to 2011 too.
No, he was on the
a long 4 years off
before the cancer. He was definitely phasing himself out. Yep. So this was for him, and this was for Takayama.
Yep. So that's
right though. Last year, Elgin won the Rambo, and he challenged Naito at New Beginning for the IC belt. So and there was precedent there, not so much this time. Just a feel good moment to get Takayama a little publicity. So
I expect that tomorrow we'll probably see Kakihara and Cheeseburger and some other people in some sort of multi-man match against the Bullet Club that'll feature Gambino and Tonga and the other Bullet Club guys who were in the Rumble.
I mean,
and it'll just be one of those.
Exactly. It'll be the Ghetto and Jado special with chaos like it always is.
Yeah.
New Year's Dash is always weird, wacky tags and then angles.
Yeah.
So. I'm sure Cheeseburger will be there and have a wacky spot. And he'll have an interaction with Toru Yano because they always do, and the people pop for it. So I don't mean to be wrestling curmudgeon. It was not my cup of tea, but he does get reactions, and it's like I've made the circus analogy before. Some people come to the circus for the acrobats. Some people come for the elephants. Some people come for the strongmen. Some people come for the clowns. You know what I mean? Wrestling is for everything. There are things to appeal to all people at a good wrestling show.
Yeah, and on the subject of Toru Yano, I'll get to him in a little bit. I got some words about him.
Okay.
In just a little bit. But let's move on to the card proper that opened with the Young Bucks defeating Roppongi 3K as your prediction.
I really dug this match. I saw about 75% of this match.
Yeah.
So unless the 25% I did not see was total shit, which I doubt. I thought this match was pretty good. And I liked it because it was the Bucks wrestling like the Revival, which they did and like the Midnight Express, which they did at the G1 Finals.
Yes.
I like this big match Young Bucks. We don't do wacky bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do their spots, but they make sense. They don't just do wacky flippy shit for the sake of doing wacky flippy shit. Like all these guys selling the back, which may or may not have been selling because holy shit, some of those bumps. Like I was like, oh my God. And Matt and Nick encouraging each other not to tap to the single legs. That was cool stuff. Like, and Sho and Yo were very, very good. Bucks are getting more diverse. They're not doing flippy stuff. I thought this was fun. Perfect opener. Longer than I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to like 9 minutes. It went like 19. But this was good. RP3K can chase and beat them back and cement their at a real show, not the show opener. Can be like third from the top at Sakura Genesis or New Beginning or whatever. Or they can just go back to Hot Shot and the belts because Gato doesn't care about tag teams. But yeah, this was a great opener. I enjoyed it a lot. I think this may have been like my third or fourth favorite match in the show. To be honest,
it was a really good match. It was a great opener, and I mean, I'm not normally on board for the Bucks, but they've been, when they're not doing their dumb shit. This was a good moment for them. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I was hoping. I'm still not entirely sure I like 3K losing the belts to the Bucks, because I mean the Bucks have held the belt 7 times.
I like it only if they win it back in a big match like this, high up the card on a big show, not a road to show at Corkin Hall, or like
even if they do,
or something like a big spotlight show.
Even if they do, though, like my whole thing is, and I'll get to this a little bit later too, because there were some other matches on the card that suffered from this. I'll explain right now. The show this week is a lyric from Arch Enemy's song "The World Is Yours." The lyric is "The present status quo remains untouched," and this match I feel is emblematic of that, because at this point it's like the Bucks have held the title 7 times. It's basically, all right, who's keeping the titles warm until the Bucks take them back? That's basically how the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships feel for the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, you know what I would do? Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
It would just be nice to see them, like,
what would be nice?
Out of the picture, but give another team the chance to shine and show that the Bucks are not the be all end all of the freaking division.
You know what would be nice, in all honesty? Get rid of these fucking belts and have one tag team division.
Yeah, well, like is a lost cause. I'm not betting on that.
What are we doing here? Like, seriously, I love the Bucks and I love I love Roppongi 3K, but like, who's the third best tag team in this division right now?
I have a feeling it's going to end up being Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi.
Oh, kill me. And I love both of them. Like El Desperado and Taka or something. Like,
yeah, that's the next stop.
I'm running out of names. Get rid of these belts. So,
yeah.
I mean, seriously, like Ricochet's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look. We got a belt history list of IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions. I'm going down to the bottom.
All right.
Okay. Young Bucks, obviously. Roppongi 3K. Funky Future, obviously not a team anymore. Roppongi Vice, not a team anymore. Suzuki-gun had Taichi and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. No, thank you. Matt Sydal and Ricochet. Matt Sydal's not allowed in the country.
Yep.
Scrolling up, Red Dragon is in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
More Red Dragon. Time Splitters. Yeah, right. You can bring Alex Shelley and Kushida back, I guess.
Excuse me.
Kushida's got really nothing. Kushida's really got nothing to do.
At this point, it would instead be MCMG. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
Okay, Suzuki-gun again. Getting like way in the past, Forever Hooligans, and
Yeah, all those.
But I mean, the juniors who have won the belt are either split up or gone to WWE.
Yeah.
Like, I'd end this belt.
It's the number of juniors who have won the tag belts outnumber the number of juniors who haven't at this point.
Yeah. It's almost like a slap in the face if you haven't.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But the match was good in the vacuum. It was fine. Carl liked it.
Yeah, that's true.
I did not see a second of this match, but I will say one thing. In a world where people can't get along and everything is so hyper-partisan and everyone hates everyone else, it is great that everybody can agree that Tomohiro Ishii is the fucking man.
Yes.
Like, this guy is so great.
Yes.
And you will know, everybody thinks he's awesome because he is awesome.
Yes.
He
is legitimately amazing.
No matter what side of the political or sports or ideological or religious divide you sit on, everyone will agree that Tomohiro Ishii is the man. And he probably was in this match too, even though I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you the rundown here.
Please.
So this was the gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championships. Going into the match, the titles were held by Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale, Tamatanga, and Tangaroa. So the start of the match was the Suzuki-gun team of Taichi, Takashi Iizuka, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Team Awkward, Michael Elgin and War Machine. That was exactly what we thought it was. Team Awkward got their spots in, and then Ray Rowe got submitted by a triangle choke from Zack Sabre, and that was that.
Pretty much exactly what it should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Get them out of the ring. Let them do their shit. Say goodbye to Wrestle Kingdom and get them out of the ring. That was exactly what we thought it would be. And then Chaos comes out. Chaos team consisted of Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Trent Beretta. And as is typical, Toru Yano did his shenanigans, low-blowed Taichi and pinned him with a schoolboy after about 4 minutes. The Suzuki-gun did not last long against Chaos. And then Taguchi Japan came in. Juice Robinson, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. This one lasted a little bit longer, but in the end, Yano countered a charge from Taguchi into a schoolboy pin and pinned Taguchi Japan to knock them out of the match. And then it comes Bullet Club.
Sounds thrilling so far.
Yeah, I mean, thus far it had been just a get your shit in style of match. Nothing really crazy had happened. And then Bullet Club came in, and it was more get your shit in until finally Beretta hit a dude buster on Tamatanga, and there's a moment where he almost fucked up the dude buster, then corrected his positioning, and then hit it and pinned Tamatanga, and Chaos now holds the belts. I mean, the last portion of the match was all right, but the fact that the middle half of this match, if you divide the match into quartiles, the second and third quartiles of this match were all about Toru Yano and Toru Yano bullshit.
Great.
And yeah, and that's like we've talked many
Not my
times.
thing.
We've talked many times
thing.
about how the Never Openweight 6-man belts feel like they're just an afterthought and they're worthless. And this doesn't help matters. I talked about last week my prediction was that Bullet Club would win the belts and, use this opportunity to try and make something serious out of them. But nope. Instead, the belts are won via comedy low blows and get your shit in spots.
Well, you know who's winning the belts next, don't you? Well, I'll tell you at the end my prediction for these belts.
I may have told you already, but yeah, you did. You mentioned it today, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I think that my prediction that I mentioned a few minutes ago is more likely. But either way,
God, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is the better of the two options. But yeah, I mean, these belts are going to continue to feel like an afterthought, and Tomohiro Ishii deserves to have something more significant than an afterthought championship. If they really want to make Beretta be a meaningful player in the heavyweight division, they need to give him something more than an afterthought championship. It's like, think it through, guys. Yeah, you have too many belts, and because of that, some of them feel like they're worthless, and the people who hold them do not receive any shine from holding them. So, what's the point?
Another belt division I would just get rid of.
Yeah.
While we're in the George cuts belts from the lexicon, get rid of this shit too.
Yeah. I mean
why is NXT great? NXT has a men's belt, a women's belt, a tag belt. That's it. Like
any UK belt, but
Well, yeah, but that's like half-assed.
Yeah. I like the idea of having an open weight division. and having open weight wrestling be a thing inside a company that has been so heavily delineated in their weight classes for such a long time, and how it's always been a huge deal when someone declares themselves to be moving up from the juniors to the full heavyweights, despite maybe not being of weight. Like, it was a huge deal when Prince Devitt did it. It was a huge deal when Kenny Omega did it. It was a huge deal when Zack Sabre Jr. showed up and did it. I like the idea of having open weight wrestling and having that be a thing amidst that, strong delineation of boundaries. But this is just the most half-assed way of doing it, and it doesn't work out. Here's the thing with
wrestling, man. This isn't combat sports where you have weight classes matter. Like, you can present a guy who's 5'10" and $180 as a monster if you book him right.
Yep. Look at Aleister Black.
Look at Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. You can do it if you book him right. You don't need to adhere to weight classes because this isn't, this isn't the UFC where that shit actually matters.
Yep.
Like, no matter how good Demetrius Johnson is, he's 120 pounds. He's not beating a heavyweight in the UFC.
Yeah, he's not beating.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
He's not beating Mark Hunt. There's no way.
He's a Hall of Famer. To me, DJ is awesome. Mighty Mouse is the man. But in wrestling, if you book a guy right and a guy is charismatic enough, it doesn't matter that he's 5'8" and $180 or whatever he is.
Yeah. That's why you can make the WrestleMania dream match of Conor McGregor versus Brock Lesnar, but you would never make the MMA match Conor McGregor versus Brock Lesnar.
Exactly. If you tell a good story, the weight doesn't matter.
Yep.
So, yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. I see this match, so I'm going to defer to your...
These titles were an afterthought when one of the best trios teams in the world were holding them in Bushi, Evil, and Sonata. And now they're going to be even more of an afterthought with the team of Tomohiro Ishii, Kamini Toru Yano, and
there's been a shitload of champions.
Stuck in the mud, Trent Beretta.
This belt has been around for 2 years, December 2012 or 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been 15 title reigns in 2 years, which is a ton for New Japan.
Yep.
New Japan's a company that likes their long-ass reign.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at the guy at the top.
And a huge chunk of that was the 6 months that LIJ held it.
Yep.
If you take that out, it looks like every month,
Yeah.
They switch these belts.
So. Yeah. Next up, Kota Ibushi defeated Cody Rhodes by pinfall with the Phoenix Splash. Can I say something to start this off?
Sure. You can say whatever you want.
Brandy Rhodes is good at nothing.
I thought Brandy Rhodes was the second best worker in this match.
Except looking good.
I thought Brandy Rhodes was the second best worker in this match.
I was annoyed as fuck with Brandy Rhodes the entirety of this match.
That's more of a testament to her husband than anything else.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I'm like, the best worker in this match is Kota Ibushi. The second best worker in this match is Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah.
The third best worker is Cody's forearm for not braining Kota Ibushi on that crossroads off the apron.
Oh my God.
Yeah, don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
Cody's such a fucking dweeb, man.
Credit where credit's due. Kota Ibushi came to work and pulled a decent match.
In a nothing match. He came to work.
Pulled out a decent match despite all of Cody Rhodes' efforts to drag it down.
Yeah, I mean, he does nothing for us.
Ibushi's
so great.
Look good.
He's awesome.
The only thing that Cody Rhodes did well here was the Chris Pratt Jack in the Box middle finger spot. That was it.
I thought his selling wasn't terrible.
I
thought it wasn't terrible. I didn't think it was good. I mean, I thought it wasn't terrible. I chose those words intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, this was the Kota Ibushi show. He's awesome. He's a great, great wrestler.
He's sick. He knows his shit.
He's really awesome.
Yep.
And Cody's Cody. Whatever. He's over. He's not over. He draws in America, and he is an avatar for people who hate WWE. So they latch on to Cody Rhodes, which is astonishing to me. But
yeah,
we've been down that road before, my friend.
Yes, we have.
Next, we had a match that I really liked.
Oh, me too. I love this match.
You know why I like this match? Because even though we give them shit, Killer Elite Squad beating the shit out of Sonata for an hour and a half was awesome.
It was very well orchestrated.
Yeah, Killer Elite Squad being these two big nasty white guys just beating the ever loving crap out of Sonata. until the hot tag. Like, I always pop for a hot tag.
Yeah.
I've been watching wrestling for 25 years. I've seen 5,000 wrestling matches, let's say, right? Just making up a number. No matter how all those wrestling matches, I'll always pop for a hot tag.
Yep.
And I love when you have the hot tag and the referee doesn't see it, so he forces the one guy back out. That's the good shit right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though the crowd saw it, the referee didn't see it, so no, you got to go back out. And the guy who's getting the shit kicked out of him has to go back in. Like, you know.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. No, Evil is an amazing hot tag. He's going to continue to be an amazing hot tag. And despite Lance Archer being literal human garbage, this was a good match. I
thought Archer and Smith did exactly what they should have done here. I mean, they did nothing above and they did nothing below what this match should have been. Was these two big nasty guys beating the crap out of our heroes, Evil and Sonata.
Yeah,
and the good guys won.
Funny how the hero and the good guy's name is Evil. Yeah. That will never not pop me.
Yeah, his name's Evil, dude. I remember when he was Watanabe, and I liked him then. I'm old school. He's great.
Evil's new gear. Evil
with the
all
suit.
New gear. The suit, new scythe, new lasers, everything.
Got a new scythe from Spirit Halloween in Japan.
Fucking sick. I love it. I don't care.
Evils. They clearly think a lot of Evil and Sonata. They gave Evil a ton against Okada when they had their match after the G1.
Yep.
And Sonata's got the look, and he is a handsome devil.
No,
by the way,
he is.
I want Ibushi versus Sonata handsome battle too. Did you love that? It was Cody versus Ibushi handsome battle is what they called it. Did you notice that, right? That graphic?
Oh god, that was a terrible graphic because there's nothing.
It just said handsome.
There's nothing handsome about Cody Rhodes whatsoever.
But not my aisle at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? But Kota Ibushi is a sexy man. I'll say that all day.
Ibushi versus Sonata would be
the handsome bowl.
That would be a match that, as they say, would make the pants drop.
Yeah, it would. The handsome bowl.
Yeah,
I will say that
on the ladies and the guys as well. Everybody's pants. Everybody's
hair versus hair would be a tragedy, one way or the other. In that match.
God, no, never do.
I would be nervous. Every near fall, I'd be nervous as hell.
I do love the whole concept of like the dichotomy of personalities between Evil and Sonata is really one of the reasons why I love this.
It works. It's fire and ice. I like it a lot.
It's like Evil is this big flamboyant dude who's got all of the like bells and whistles for his costume. Has these big florid speeches, all these catchphrases, everything in the works. And Sonata's just like, I got a new mask 2 months ago. I'm cool. I'll just walk out there. That's it.
Yeah.
The most basic shit, and then he just whips out a moonsault out of nowhere and wins the fucking match, and it's just like, all right, awesome. That was great. That was a really fun match.
It was. I liked it a lot. Speaking of hair versus hair, my friend, like
this may have been my favorite match.
This was my match of the night. Minoru Suzuki is the greatest person of all time.
Oh my god,
he is a great man.
Yeah,
I feel bad for ripping into him on this show. He is. How about that drop kick?
Oh my god!
Kicks guy right in the face with Roddy Strong's little shit boots.
Yep. Perfect.
Suzuki is such a badass, even though he lost, which was the right thing to do.
Yes.
The bully should get his comeuppance.
Yeah,
he still managed to get over even more by shaving his own head.
Yeah, that was that. I was a friggin' spectacular moment where all of his fucking goonies that tried to
he didn't even know
into the match.
He's being dragged from the ring, right? Half dead after the GTR. And he comes up the ramp and he realizes what's happening and he waves him off and he walks back to the ring because you know what? He is an asshole, but he is a man of honor. And he sits there and he puts his own chair down and he shaves his head and he puts the samurai knot on the chair and he storms off. And you know what? I am here for a pissed off Minoru Suzuki.
I gotta say, I love the whole thing of like his shitbird goonies who made every opportunity to interject themselves into the match, whether he wanted them to or not, all came fucking running down there. Props also to Yoshihashi for being the only member of Chaos who gives a shit about
Chaos has like 80 people and only one member came to back up Goto.
Yoshihashi is the only person who cares about Haruki Goto, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you for that.
And the Young Lions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Young Lions are just doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Yoshihashi being the only guy who got down there and held Taichi off. Taichi was up there ready to do his shit because and literal shit because it's Taichi and he is literal shit. Yoshihashi being the only guy, props to him for that. But Suzuki is just I like Suzuki shitbird heel that is also a man of his word.
Yeah.
That's
a Suzuki face turn?
I don't know. But whatever happens, I hope that somebody has fixed the rest of his hair by the time New Year's Dash starts up tonight, because he did not do a good job shaving his head. It was messy as fuck back there.
That picture, he looked pretty normal.
I may not be any sort of fashion expert, but I know when you shave your head, you got to shave the whole damn thing.
One way or the other.
If you leave patches behind, it is no, don't do that. Don't leave patches behind.
Yeah.
There's no if about it. Just don't do it.
Minoru Suzuki is a great man, and I like this match. Little too much head stuff for my taste.
Yeah, but that's been the story the entire time of this feud.
That's okay.
And
I am here. By the way, I am here. I am here for a Hiroki Goto awesome never open weight title run, because you know what Hiroki Goto is good at? Offense. In a world where not a lot of guys are good at offense, Hiroki Goto's offense is awesome.
Yeah. And I don't even think
he's going to defend this title, and it's going to be awesome.
I don't even think we can call this feud a feud anymore, though, because it's been Goto won the belt at Wrestle Kingdom last year, and then dropped it to Suzuki at Sakura Genesis, I want to say. So 3 months.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah. About 3 months.
Suzuki had the belt for 9 months?
Yeah. Suzuki's had the belt this whole time.
God. And 80% of the matches were garbage.
Yeah, but in between those two events, Goto also defended the belt against Zack Sabre Jr. at whatever the show was in March. I forget which show it was in March.
You're right, yeah.
So Goto has basically been on a personal crusade against Suzuki-gun with nobody backing him up except occasionally Yoshihashi for fucking 10 months now. 10 months of this shit. I like Goto. I love that man. He's great. I'm ready for some fresh matchups for him, for somebody else to come after that belt.
It's not that I'm anti-Suzuki. It's that I'm anti these Suzuki matches with tons of run-ins. And,
the run-in shit is really
this match was good because it didn't have run-ins. It had angry Minoru Suzuki. Well, it had the run at the end, but I mean that was pretty minor.
The aborted run-in, we'll call it.
But this was if I get this Minoru Suzuki angry,
cut them off at the pass.
Yeah, if I get this Minoru Suzuki angry, pissed off, slap you in the face over and over, Minoru Suzuki, I am all in.
Yeah.
I'm pushing every single chip to the center of that table, man. I'm all in on that.
How did you feel about
this match was awesome. I love this match.
Suzuki challenging for the IC title next?
Sure. Fuck yeah.
I'd be all in for that. I hope that's where they go with this.
Sure.
Give me that. Give me it. Give it to me.
Give me Suzuki for the U.S. title.
That too.
Give me Suzuki. Sure. I mean, get him out of this never scene. He's too good for this never scene.
I mean, it's a funny thing to say.
Want Zack Sabre Jr. to challenge for the never? By all means.
A 48-year-old ex-MMA fighter is one of the most overworkers in the whole company, especially this company with the bloated roster that we've talked about, because he's
charismatic.
He's good at his shit. He is good at what he does. He is really good at what he does.
I would pledge my firstborn to watch Minoru Suzuki versus Roman Reigns.
Oh,
for the
God,
IC
that
title.
would be so good.
I'm all in. Just Minoru just slapping Roman and Roman slapping him back. Yeah, I'm here for that.
Oh, yeah.
Would be great.
Yep.
Suzuki
loves his moments of no-selling people's offense. I would love to see him try and no-sell a Roman Reigns right hand from the big wind-up just right across the face.
That punch. Roman's a great puncher.
Oh, he is awesome.
In a company where nobody's a good puncher.
Yeah, his striking is fantastic.
5 good punchers in the entire company. because Roman's one of the 5.
Yeah.
He's really good at the punching part, and Suzuki's really good at taking a punch. So this would be a good match.
Yeah.
I did not see any of the next match except for Marty Scurll's giant wings.
Oh my god, this match.
Whatever. It's special. I mean, I'm okay with special, with one exception, which we'll get to, and I will explain why. I'm okay with special gear for your big matches. Like I like when AJ has the red pants for WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and I like when guys have different tights. Like I like Okada's pants. A lot of people do not like Okada's pants. I like them. I like for big matches. You should have different gear. I'm okay with the wings for this shit. You know, I'm okay with that.
White Ranger Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
remember that?
Naito with the white suit with the burgundy cape. Like that was cool.
Yeah, that's good shit. But yeah, this next match, the Fatal 4-Way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay defeated Hiromu Takahashi, Kushida, and Marty Scurll by pinfall with the Oscutter on Scurll to win the belt. There will definitely be people who say that this match was a spot fest and it was ridiculous and overbooked.
That's the point.
That's what a junior match should be.
They're all spot fests.
But I will say that there was enough psychology and enough intensity to the match that the amount of high spots in it didn't bother me all that much. This match was consistently telling a number of different stories. It kind of transitioned from phase to phase to phase. The opening phase was Marty Scurll is a jackass who just wants to see his opponents do their typical fight each other until they're worn out and then try and steal the win so he can, continue holding his belt, which I didn't like, but that's because I'm just done with Marty Scurll. I can't deal with him anymore. That's me. That's on me entirely. Takahashi, Kushida, and Ospreay all pulled their weight tremendously in this match. After they finally got Scurll in the ring and went at it full bore, it then became a matter of who had the better endurance to get it done. Who could mount the comeback better. Excuse me. Here, I can tell I'm going to be preemptively getting rid of the sneeze before the sneeze can strike me.
You Playboy.
Yeah. Will Ospreay did a reverse dive off a lighting rig. There were so many just ridiculously crazy spots. 3 different times Will Ospreay went for the Oscutter on Marty Scurll, and twice Marty knocked him into the chicken wing, just like he's done in the past.
Yep. These two have great chemistry, don't they?
Only to have it broken up by either Kushida or Hiromu. Will took Hiromu's sunset flip powerbomb to the outside from him and did it to Hiromu. Fucking sick. That was awesome. And then that third Oscutter, Will finally hit it and pinned Scurll to win the belt. It was a good match. It wasn't a great match, but it was a good match. Like I said, 3 of the guys in this match I really like, and for those 3 guys, I would watch the match again to see the work that those.
I'm going to watch the show Saturday before the football game. I think the first football game is like 3:30 my time, so I'm going to watch this entire show start to finish Saturday.
Good deal.
So I will definitely check this out.
There are definitely bits that I'm missing here. Hiromu is probably the guy who did actually I shouldn't say that. Kushida did the least in this match, but Hiromu was the least memorable of this match, which is really sad because we said coming into this that he needs the win really badly, and he still does. Like, the spots he did, the moments he had were big deal spots, but like it wasn't anything that really showed that they have anything significant in mind for him, which was really a shame. So coming out of this, I think we go back to Will Kushida, I think is what we're going to see going forward. Unless they continue the Will Marty feud.
What do you think about Kushida going after the Never?
I wouldn't mind that.
Neither would I. I think I'm done with Kushida in the juniors.
I mean,
I'm just, I'm not, I like Kushida a lot. It's not, it's just, I've seen everything he's done.
Yeah, dude is like 33, 34 years old at this point.
More than ever.
Yeah.
Why not?
Give him an opportunity.
You telling me Kushida Goto wouldn't be great?
It would be. That would be fantastic.
Like, as opposed to Kushida Ospreay, I mean, which I guess, but
yeah, we've seen it before though. That's the thing.
We've seen this, man.
Like they're
Dash better. You know what? This 10,000 foot view of this show, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This show was good. The parts I saw, I liked it a lot. But this company needs a fucking shakeup, Chris.
Yeah.
Like, Dash better be something. There better be something crazy at the Dash. Like,
again, the present
like
status
seismic.
quo.
There better be a seismic shakeup at the Dash.
The present status
in like
quo
6
remains
hours.
Untouched.
Yeah.
As I said, the title for
needs a shakeup.
Like, the title for this podcast is what it is for a reason.
Yeah. This company needs an earthquake, and I don't mean the deceased wrestler.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know if he's deceased. I take that back.
There are very few feuds that we can go to that we haven't seen for Will Ospreay. But the ones that we haven't seen that I would like to see all involve guys from CMLL.
Fantastic Comedians around the corner, but that's not really a feud though. That's like a one-off.
Will Ospreay Dragon Lee would be a match I would pay fucking dollars to see.
And Dragon Lee versus anybody would be a match that I'd pay many dollars, but especially young Will.
Yeah. But like give Dragon Lee like a couple of months with the belt to reset the division, and then see what happens from there. I wouldn't mind him having a 3-month tour of Japan going up to Sakura Genesis.
Sure.
Something like that, yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Let's talk about a match. Let's talk about the worst match on the card.
Yeah. Let's talk about
Switchblade.
Improper ways to make returns.
Let's talk about Switchblade real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I've said in the past that Cody Rhodes looks like a kid playing wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
I've said that Cody Rhodes looks like a kid who's pretending to be a wrestler. Mm-hmm. Jay White looks like a kid pretending to be Cody Rhodes. That's how bad this is.
It was.
The match was okay.
Disappointing.
I liked the story working the leg, even though it didn't really pay off. The big problem with the match is that the Switchblade character was non-existent.
Yeah.
No mannerisms, no big spots to show off his ruthlessness. Just a lot of working the leg.
Yeah.
When you have a new character, you have two options.
Give them something.
You have two options. You either get the new heel over, or you go out there and you have an awesome wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to do both and didn't do either, which was the problem here. Mm-hmm. They half-assed it. And you know what? I just saw Hiroshi Tanahashi have a 4 3/4 star match a month ago with Kota Ibushi. So for him to turn around and have a 3 at best star match with Jay White, I'm not blaming the ace.
No.
This was Jay White's biggest match of his life. Yeah. And homeboy shit the bed. And there was no other way to describe it.
He got caught in the lights.
He got caught in the light. They get rid of this gimmick, this Bray Wyatt 2.0 shit. Get it off my damn screen. Get the fuck out of here. Go away for 6 months. Come back and try again. He's young enough and he's talented enough that he can make something work. If he comes back at Dominion with something other than this whatever this garbage was.
Yeah, this was not the way.
It clearly isn't working.
This was not the way to go about it.
Switchblade.
I
mean, it didn't work. Props for trying. Good for them for trying. But it just this Switchblade serial stalker, whatever, serial killer, leather Columbine shit. It just didn't. I mean, to say it fell flat is an understatement, my friend. It was just.
They did it better with the lead up, the build up of White attacking Tanahashi at the events, hitting him, making sure that he was got hit where it hurts, going after the knee, like he did.
And then he followed up with that with the Heat segment, but nobody cared. And this was a good crowd. Yeah. Don't tell this wasn't Fukuoka where the crowd's garbage. This crowd was on fire for this card, and nobody cared about Jay White.
Yeah,
nobody. Get a pin drop in that arena when he's working the leg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
there was not anything to latch onto.
No, there was nothing there. I don't blame him. I'm not blaming the crowd. There was nothing there. You're right.
Yeah. the agency of this match was not present. It was not well put together ahead of time. And, it sucks for Jay White because, as I said last week, he's definitely got the talent. He's tremendously talented. He's a dude that could, on any other night, I would, on this night, I put my money on Jay White going out there and having a fucking spectacular match.
I thought he would have a great match.
And before last night, any given night, give me Jay White versus virtually any name, and I would say that's going to be a highlight match on the card. Virtually any name in the world. Before last night, you could have said to me Jay White versus X, and I would say that's going to be a highlight on the card. But after last night, I'm left saying, what the fuck happened? The dude was on excursion for how long? A year or so?
A year. Yeah.
He worked for several of the biggest promotions in the world. Didn't ever have a problem at any of those places. Made a name for himself. Made a reputation for himself as being highly skilled at what he was doing as well. Maybe a little bit bland with character work at the time, but his in-ring definitely...
You're a baseball fan, right?
Definitely spectacular. Yes.
You're a baseball. Some guys just crush it in AAA and get called up to the big show, and they hit 200. Some guys are great, quote, minor leaguers, and they can't hit the curveball or whatever.
I'll tell you a story.
Sure.
For one summer in 2003, I worked for the Pawtucket Red Sox, their AAA affiliate for the Boston Red Sox. I worked in the stands, walking around selling concessions and selling souvenirs. I was there for a game in late August of 2003 when Bronson Arroyo pitched a perfect game that night. One of the most well-pitched games of baseball I've ever seen in my life. Amazing stuff. He got called up the following year, 2004, to the Red Sox. Wasn't even in the starting lineup by the end of the year. Got traded away, and
you know how that story ends, right?
The best he ever did.
And you know how that story ends. Bronson Arroyo had a solid career in the big leagues. He just retired this year.
Mm-hmm.
That could be Jay White.
The best he ever did, though, was as a number 4 starter for the fucking Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
That was the best he ever did.
No, and you know what? Some guys are just mid-carders.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
They tried to make a guy. They tried to make a guy. He's 25. They can send him away on excursion again, or repackage him, or keep him off TV, and they can bring him back at Dominion, and he could kill it. And this will just be an unfortunate. Hey, remember when? Remember when that guy who's the 3-time Intercontinental Champion had the bad match with Tanahashi? Yeah, it was a bad match.
He redeemed himself.
Sometimes guys have bad matches. I mean, I'm trying to think of a WWE analogy. Like,
Yeah.
No, maybe this is. I'm like, I don't know. John Cena's had bad matches, and he's not John Cena. Randy Orton's had bad matches. Randy Orton's had a shitload of bad matches.
Yeah.
Turn out okay. Like, I don't know. Some guys get called up from NXT to the main roster and shit the bed, or AAA to the majors and shit the bed, and it just, some guys can't hit the curve, Chris.
Yep.
And I don't think Jay White can hit the curve.
We'll see.
So, too bad. Give him an A for effort. I'll always be here for trying out something new, but
it sucks though, because like the thing about it that is of greater concern for my money. The thing for me that is of greater concern is the fact that every year prior, when they've had a big important name come back from excursion, and then they have a big high profile match at WrestleMania, they've killed it. Hiromu last year is the greatest success story in that lineage so far. But now there's the opportunity that now this is going to give them pause to say, maybe it's not the best idea to have a rising star coming back from excursion have a spotlight match at WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom,
unless you are 1,000,000% sure.
Yeah. Like now I'm left thinking, okay, crap. Kitamura is kind of gonna come back from excursion at the end of the year, and he's might not get the spotlight match that we know he deserves because they're going to be thinking, well, look what happened with Jay White last year. I am worried about what this means for guys like Kitamura, like Kawato, like Umino, like Oka, the guys who are up and on the rise, have proven their worth. I'll tell you, before this show started, before Wrestle Kingdom started, before I started on my Twitch stream and everything, what I did was I went back and watched the fan excursion night for the January 3rd show, where they had all the promos for leading up to Wrestle Kingdom, and then they had a series of exhibition matches. The exhibition matches were all tag matches where they paired a young lion with one of the dads. And those tag matches were a fucking shitload of fun.
Yeah.
They were great matches. I got to watch
Kojima and Kawato was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Kitamura and Kojima was pretty awesome.
Kitamura and Satoshi Kojima versus Tomoaki Oka and Hiroyoshi Tenzan. That's a great fucking tag match. And then immediately after that, I got to watch Hirai Kawato and Yuji Nagata versus Shota Umino and Manabu Nakanishi. Another great fucking match. Those were great matches. And those kids, and I use the word kids literally because those guys are pretty young, except for Kitamura. Those guys are all pretty young. Those kids have proven themselves. And they're going to go on an excursion, and barring some sort of crisis of confidence or homesickness or injury or any of the other things that certainly can happen, but we hope don't. As long as those kids are able to continue to work, there is a very high likelihood that they will continue to be excellent. And I would hate for them to go out, be excellent all over the world elsewhere to prove themselves, and then come back and have New Japan say, all right, well, we got to put the brakes on giving you your big debut, but don't worry, it's coming soon. We just can't do it here because, this other guy fucked it up for you. I would hate for that to happen. I would hate for how they would feel coming back home, especially. These guys are leaving their homes. This is the home that they've known for their whole lives, most of these dudes. And they're leaving their homes they've known for their whole lives, going out into the big wide world, and coming home, and instead of getting the hero's welcome, they get the World War II veterans welcome. We all know how bad that was for World War II veterans in America.
Vietnam veterans,
even worse. I mean, I didn't want to go with that because that was fucking awful, but, same kind of thing. Awful treatment.
Yeah, I hope they don't I hope they don't blow up the whole Young Lion excursion thing because of this. Like, that's how bad this was. This was a failure.
Yes.
And, I mean, you get an A for effort and an F for execution, man. So let's talk about something that was not a failure, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the things I disliked in this match first, because it is a small list.
All right. This next match that we're talking about here is Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho in a no disqualification match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship.
The list of things I disliked. You ready?
I already know what one of them is.
Kenny Omega's gimmick costume was bullshit.
Yeah, you're...
Bullshit, Chris. This is a blood feud. You don't have the press conferences the day before. Right? You have color at Fukuoka. Color. You have guys jumping each other at press conferences. And then you have Kenny Omega coming out being a third-rate Marvel cosplayer. What the fuck is this, man?
You're not expecting, or you're not being satisfied with Kenny Omega doing his bullshit because of the feud that he's in. Would be like me saying that Randy Orton shouldn't do the fucking spin around and hit the ground with his forearms thing before doing the RKO.
Remember when Orton blew his shoulder out doing that?
No, I don't.
That was great. Oh, that's before your time.
Yeah.
He did that and, fucked his arm up in, 06. You know how Sami Zayn blew his shoulder out, cheering?
Yes.
Similar. He, did the same, Orton did the same thing in, 06. And, this is back when he had, the shoulders that would like pop out before he got the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And like his shoulder like just popped out of its socket.
Oh, a guy used to have chronic dislocation. Yeah.
Yeah, he's hypermobile shoulders. Yeah. Let's talk about what else I disliked. Kenny Omega taking the cold spray and spraying himself in the dick with it. Again, this is a blood feud. This ain't a comedy match.
Mm. Yeah, no, I understand that.
Let's talk about something else I disliked.
I'll agree with that.
Talk about something else I disliked. Chris Jericho's gut. Like, dude, lay off the carbs. You look like shit. Okay?
40,
having said out,
you know what, 47 years old?
Minoru Suzuki doesn't have a gut.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah, because Minoru Suzuki cares about himself.
Is a great man.
And
we should have renamed this podcast Minoru Suzuki is a great man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what I liked.
No,
Everything else.
Chris Jericho is not Minoru Suzuki because Chris Jericho is out here on Twitter promoting his shitty cruise and being a misogynist dickhead.
Yeah, let's talk about what I liked. Everything else. This match was so good.
It was a good match, yes.
This match ruled. Chris Jericho having the time of his life, being the dickhead delusional character, yelling at fans, calling fans fuck faces, and flipping off cameras, and putting Red Shoes' kid in the Lion Tamer.
Oh yeah, that was a great spot.
This was so good. I love this match.
Jericho, shoves Red Shoes to the ground, and then throws Shota into the fucking Lion Tamer right next to him, right in full view. Like that was fucking great. Like knowing that Red Shoes
was perfectly
disqualified for that.
This was exactly what it should have been and more. And you know what? We use the term carry job a lot. Wrestling fans need to adjust their lexicon in general.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This was a fucking carry job because Chris Jericho's got nothing left except for the gimmick. And Omega took him right where he needed to go.
Yep.
Like,
Kenny Omega, like, we've talked about,
like
matches
goofball Kenny Omega aggravates the shit out of me, but man, he put his working boots on tonight. Yeah.
Let me just say that we've talked about dudes who are miracle workers in the ring. After this match, I can safely say that Kenny Omega belongs on that list.
Yeah, he got a 4.5-star match out of a broken down Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Chris Jericho I've said for years now that Jericho has nothing left in the tank, and should not.
And I want to separate. He has nothing left in the tank. Work rate rise.
Yeah,
the gimmick's great, and the character's great, and he knows the little things, like him trash talking the crowd and doing the Hulk Hogan ear pose thing, and then popping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God bless, that was awesome. But what I liked about this match, that it wasn't a 6 million mile an hour spot fest like Omega matches.
Yeah,
it was slow, it was deliberate, it was a brawl, it had color. I really wish that Omega hadn't whitewashed the blood off his face, because that was such an awesome visual.
I am surprised that New Japan let him do a fucking blade job, but
But I don't think he could see, which is why he did that.
Yeah,
like he was bleeding like a stuck pig. He was bleeding everywhere. So I think he did that because I don't think he could see. In which case, I mean, wipe the blood off so you can not die.
That is a testament to both how good and how that is a testament to the advancement of professional wrestling, in that it's a good thing that wrestlers don't do blade jobs anymore, but it's a bad thing that people don't know how to safely do blade jobs anymore.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
not that
you don't see.
Not that there really is anything safe about
bleeding. A lot of color anymore. You don't see a lot of color anymore.
Yeah.
So therefore, when you see it, it's way more effective.
Yes.
And how about Jericho bleeding from the mouth because he took that forearm to the face?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of bleeding from the mouth on this show, by the way.
Yes, a lot of that.
Up and down. Like, guys, it's wrestling. You don't have to slap each other full speed in the face.
No, but, sometimes...
That's it. Matt's right. Slow, deliberate ball. That is CJ's wrestling. Exactly. That's all I need. This was good. A little long. I like this match a lot.
It definitely went a little
longer than quarter. You can even talk about, and I missed the beginning part of it. So I may go 4.5 on the end. You know what I'm saying?
It definitely
4.5 when I watched it again.
I don't know. It definitely went about 10 minutes longer than it should have. I feel like the storyline could have been a little bit more concise if they had cut a little bit of the fat out of it. But all in all, still a good match.
Cut a little bit of the fat, man. You're meaner on Jericho than I am.
Oh, I don't like the guy. What do you want from me?
Just messing with you.
Oh, I know. I know.
The rope break inconsistencies were weird as fuck.
Yeah, but
either the rope break matters or it doesn't. Pick one. I am anti rope break in an ODQ match. But if you're gonna have the rope break matter, have the rope break matter for the entire match.
Yes.
Don't change the rules halfway through, because the rope break didn't matter for the first time he had the lion tamer on him because he had to get the cold spray.
Right.
Okay, fine. But then when he did the old school lion tamer, which I popped for because the old school lion tamer is the best, with the knee in the head, yeah, good stuff right there. And then the rope break mattered, and then the rope break mattered for the one-winged angel, and the rope, what are we doing here, people? But this match was great. It was everything it should have been. Yes. Had a lot of fun watching it, and that's what really this is about. Crowd loved it. Crowd was on fire for this match.
Yes,
and Kenny Omega to not tap out. Are you ready to live in a world where Kenny Omega is like the universal Japan babyface?
Oh, he already has been.
He's he's the number one babyface in the roster.
Yeah.
In terms of straight up babyface.
Yeah.
The Bucks came out and they got sent to the back, and it was the Kenny Omega show.
Yep.
Because Naito's not a babyface, and God knows where Naito is after this show in terms of positioning on the card.
Yeah.
And Okada's definitely not a babyface.
You want to just talk about that now?
Sure.
Yeah.
I gotta watch this again because I was at the office and I walking into a shitstorm of problems, so I wasn't really paying 100% attention.
All right. I was also not paying 100% attention because
let me tell you my last impression of the match real quick though, and then you could talk because I've talked for a while. So they go to the finish, and the finish was awesome. The Destino and the jumping tombstone, and the Rainmaker, and he has wrist control, and the Destino, and you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And he hits the second. Was it the second or the third? The third Rainmaker, right? There were three Rainmaker.
Third Rainmaker.
And I go, wow, they're really burying the Rainmaker as a finish, because there's no way Naito's losing this match. And then I was like, huh. And that was the exact same reaction I had when Brock Lesnar hit that third F5 against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I was like, man, they're really burying the F5 as a finisher, because there's no way Undertaker's losing this match. And then next thing you know, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Japan's weird in terms of how they do wrestling.
Yes.
Not at all what I would have done.
Yes.
I mean, I heard 45,000 people chanting Naito to Stardust Genius.
35.
And I heard people yelling his name for the entire time. Well, they had 35 paid, but they had paid for the show. They always paid for the show. So that's where I got the 45 from. I mean, it was a pretty full house based on what we saw there and on Twitter and stuff.
Yes.
Doesn't mean everyone paid, but I'm talking people who were in the building. I mean, Stardust Genius hit, and everyone was chanting Naito's name, and he was unbelievably over. And if you're going to run this shit back in a year, it may work, because that's how Japan does things. I mean, we talked in the thread. I took Kawato 10 tries to beat Misawa in All Japan. But I don't think Naito's going to be as over in a year from now, because when you tease and you don't deliver, people get pissed off and they stop believing. And there's no one on the planet who loves Kazukata more than I do. I love Kazukata. And I am excited for another year of Kazukata title defenses, if they are anywhere near as good as the ones we just had. But man, it was Naito's time. It was 100% Naito's time.
Yeah.
So
I'll agree. I'll agree that the ending was definitely shocking. And I actually predicted 3 Rainmakers.
You did.
But and I'm like, I was thinking to myself, all right, there's the third one. Here comes the kick out, and he's gonna go for.
I was like, man, they're burying the Rainmaker, and then we didn't get a kick out. I was like, oh,
it's like, all right, here comes the kick out. Then we're gonna go to the fourth. He's gonna hit another Destino out of nowhere, and that's gonna be how the match ends. And then the third, as soon as the hand hit the mat the third time, I actually physically pushed myself away from my computer desk. I'm watching on my computer, and I'm in my desk chair, which rolled, and I pushed myself away from the desk, just like this. And I'm sitting there staring in shock. And you can go back to my Twitter timeline, and I'll actually do it right now. I'll go back on my Twitter timeline to 8 o'clock this morning to what?
Yeah, I don't.
Followed by like 30 exclamation points.
I
And
don't.
then 2 minutes later, holy fucking what? Followed by about 30 question marks. And like, I was not expecting this at all. Having said that, though, I understand storylines may have logical conclusions and they have logical progressions that make sense. And yes, that is absolutely correct. And I 100% endorse this and believe that this is important and should be utilized more in wrestling. Having said that, I somebody tweeted "Trust the process" this morning. That was
Yes.
Vinny Massaro, who is a wrestler for Lucha Underground. I follow him on Twitter, and he tweeted "Trust the process" with a picture of Naito after his loss. And I'll read to you my exact reply to him. Yeah. That phrase gives me such a visceral shudder of disgust as I wait for my Eagles to melt down in the playoffs again. And, I am not a fan of the trust the process phrase. But as the day has gone on, and as I've thought about it more, and as I've read other people's tweets, and I've, talked to people more about this, I am willing to cautiously say, all right, I will trust the process, and I will trust that there will be a logical payoff to this down the line, and that Naito will still have his moment in the sun.
I think Gedo has earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to this stuff in terms of singles build.
Yes.
But
I understand that we may have all been expecting the conclusion here because that's what seemed logical, and it did. It absolutely did. There was certainly a logic. There was a logic to the conclusion happening here, but we also are not privy to the long-term plans. And there is a strong possibility, even a probability, that the way that this story is going to continue will allow for the eventual payoff to be even better than what we were expecting it to be last night.
And I'm also willing to concede that we are not Japanese with their history of long, delayed, slow builds when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
I talked about Kawato and Misawa. I talked about Okada himself 3 years ago, 4 years ago. However,
and that's an interesting bit of storytelling as well.
But there's a few big differences between 26-year-old Okada taking the Ace title from 38-year-old Tanahashi and a 35-year-old Naito with a bad knee. I don't know how much longer we have with this incarnation of the guy.
But I will say this, though. When you're looking at storytelling bits, here's the thing. And I'm not as familiar with the beginning of Okada's rise to power as I should be. I should definitely go back and watch some of that. But when Okada first went and challenged Tanahashi, when he was feeling like he was the invincible kid and thought that he had it all and that he could, take the title, and then lost it, and then, and got his comeuppance, that was a moment of strong growth and development for Okada that has led him to where he is today. And where he is today is on the precipice of returning back to that same attitude that he had 4 years ago of being the unstoppable, unbeatable force of nature that nobody can touch. He's on the precipice of getting right back to that. He's changed his look. He's changed his attitude. He's right there on the line. The post-match speech, it keeps him, a little bit away from just jumping over the line full tilt. But he's right there. He's leaning off the edge of just jumping right back into that full-on dickhead Okada character, which I love, by the way. Which I think is spectacular. But he's right on the edge of going right back to that character again, of saying that he's the absolute best and that nobody can touch him. You know, Geto is the one saying it right now. But Okada's right there on the edge of saying it himself. You know, it's not a coincidence that he led off his comments post-match by saying, Naito, how was that Wrestle Kingdom main event? That was the very first thing he said. And that's, you know, that may be meant as, you know, some may interpret that as a sign of respect towards a guy who just put him through his paces. But I look at that as a guy who is feeling a little bit overconfident after just vanquishing one of his biggest foes, taking a moment to get a little jab in for his own ego's purpose, for his own ego's sake. And I think that we're going to start to see more of that from Okada going forward. I think we're going to start to see more of those little character mannerisms that are going to bring him right back to that character that he had right before Tanahashi knocked him off the mountain. And this time it's going to be Naito who's going to knock him off the mountain and say, you got too full of yourself, kid, and I'm here to, you know, to put you back in your place.
I just hope that Naito is as hot then as he was last night.
Yes, of course.
I mean, my notes verbatim, this is the loudest crowd reaction I've heard on a stadium show since Hogan Rock at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
An arena show where the noise gets lost.
Yes.
Like, I mean, in terms of the story, one of the things I've loved about this title run that Okada has been on, one of the many things, is that I love the callbacks to the previous matches of the wars that Okada has been in. And he does just enough to keep that title. And I think that could have been the story you told about how all the wars finally caught up to him. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that on this night, he lost because of all the times he won beforehand. But I'll say this. I love that this man, that Okada, is willing to do whatever, willing to go that extra mile to keep that belt. Because the belt matters so much. Chris, I love when the belt matters.
Yeah. Oh, like, absolutely.
I love this Roman Reigns thing right now, where he fights tooth and nail for that belt. That's his fucking belt. And he's had it for like 3 weeks, but goddamn, that's his belt. And it matters to him. And if it matters to him, it matters to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Same thing here, only times a million. Because Naito's had it for, or Okada's had it for longer than, for like a year and a half or whatever it's been, you know?
Yeah.
Same concept, though. Because if you're the champ and the belt matters to you and you will go through hell for that belt, then I'm going to walk right next to you. Because why wouldn't I? So I really dig that. And I dug that he put himself through hell again. Here's a question. What happens now?
Well, something that just occurred to me now as I was just listening to you now, because I started thinking a little bit more about what I was just saying about, you know, the development of where Okada's headed. You know, I think that the reason why they didn't pull the trigger here is because they haven't gotten to that point where Okada has gone over the edge and, you know, gotten that arrogance back. And Madeline pointed it out in the chat. Thank you for bringing that up. He needs to get that full-on arrogance. You know, a shithead heel Okada needs to come back in full force.
Like the flashes against Kojima and stuff.
Before he loses it. You know, he's still got some of that, you know, some of that babyface shine on him. He needs to go full shitbird heel before he loses that belt. And I think that's where they're going with this, because I think this is New Japan's way of leaning into the fact that LIJ is universally beloved, is their biggest, like, overall biggest merch mover in terms of a stable, and is, you know, the driving force for excellence in the company right now. I think this is their way of leaning into it to make sure that LIJ as a stable goes full face. We already had that last night with Evil and Sonata. Full face. Hiromu the night before is, you know, with his promo from the Fan Fest, talking about his, you know, his infatuation with Kushida. and how much he enjoys Will and Marty. You know, and the character bits that they're starting to display for him, then point to them pushing that for him as well, going full babyface. And all that's left there from there is to, you know, bring Bushi and Naito along. And once you have full babyface LIJ versus full on shithead heel Okada, that's when I think we're going to see the title change. So what I'm thinking we go from here is we start the new year off with LIJ, you know, kind of recollecting themselves, not sure what to do. Okada goes on at Sakura Genesis, faces Kenny Omega for the 4th time after Kenny Omega wins the New Japan Cup. Beats Omega, and then immediately transitions into being full-on dickhead and saying, I don't care who you send at me for Dominion. I don't care what kind of match it is. I've beaten everybody that there is to beat. I'm definitively the greatest champion that this company has ever had. I am the ace. I'm number one, and nothing that any of you can ever do or say will change that. And that's when I think we have Naito emerge from his state of being lost in the wilderness and come out as the fucking avenging hero and say, hell no, you haven't beaten everybody. Not yet. I'm not done with you. And win that belt at Dominion. Again. Or no, he lost it at Dominion.
It's got to be Dominion.
It's got to be Dominion. If they wait for
they can't do this another year.
Yeah.
They can't. There's no chance.
Yeah. It's got to be
no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I would almost I think Dominion because it's the number 2 show of the year. It's like their version of SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's got
to be Dominion.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm okay. Again, not what I would have done, but I'm dude in Chicago on a podcast. Ghetto has more than earned enough equity and benefit of the doubt. But I mean, the G1 finals are in August. They're at Budokan Hall, 14,000 seats. Hoping this doesn't screw their business over. You know? Hey, believe if everything stays the same and they're still drawing big numbers and Okada's still over and Naito's still over and we get to Dominion and it's great and Naito wins with a 45-minute match and it's awesome, we can just go from there and everything will be great.
Yeah.
That's great. But if they get to Dominion and Naito's not as over and Okada's not drawing as well, then we got problems. You know?
No,
like
exactly.
It's a risky game.
It is.
I would absolutely be 100% opposed to them doing this another year. Now, if they put the belt on Naito at Dominion and Okada wins the G1 and Okada's the challenger at the Dome under the I don't lose to the Tokyo Dome, you can't beat me at the Tokyo Dome, which is what Tanahashi did at Wrestle Kingdom 10, then I'm okay with that story.
Oh, yeah.
If Naito wins.
Yeah.
You know?
Have the G1 be Okada's... Yeah, have the G1 and then Wrestle Kingdom and then the fallout from Wrestle Kingdom.
There are two ways you can script the story of Okada's eventual downfall.
Yeah. This is how I would do it. Like,
let's assume that he doesn't, God forbid, blow his knee out or something.
Yeah.
You know?
What I want from this is what I described of, you know, Naito coming out of the wilderness after Sakura Genesis and beating shithead heel Okada at Dominion. What I want from that, following that, is we see the 5 stages of grief from Kazuchika Okada for the follow-up of Dominion into the G1, into the build to Wrestle Kingdom 13, which is that we have denial and then anger. Anger will propel him through the G1 to winning the whole thing and then getting that briefcase. And then after losing again at Wrestle Kingdom, we see him go through bargaining, grief, and acceptance.
You and Madeline are both right. Because there's 2 ways you can script this storyline of Okada's downfall.
Mm.
Either the wars finally get to him and he just can't do it anymore, which is fine, which is how I would have done this match. You know, the neck, the arm, whatever. It's too much for him. You know, and it makes sense because he's been gotten the shit kicked out of him for a year and a half.
Yeah, but he's also 30 years old, so it's less believable.
Yes and no.
It's less believable than if it was Tanahashi.
He's good enough at the selling that it's okay. Or that it's not the wars that have gotten him, it's that the attitude's gotten him. Mm-hmm. That he almost believes his own gimmick a little too much in the terms of the Rainmaker, you know? So, I don't know. I'm just worried that when Dominion or Sakura Genesis or whatever rolls around, that the crowd won't care as much. Because they'll be like, oh, they're never going to coronate this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I understand
that. I've seen it happen before, man. I've seen it happen before. 2003. Crowd was willing to lose their mind for Bill Goldberg winning at SummerSlam against Triple H at the cage. Nope. Triple H won dirty in a minute after getting into that match. Mm-hmm. Bill Goldberg won the title next pay-per-view and 200,000 less people bought it. Because they didn't believe. Like, it's happened before. A lot.
Yeah, what I was expecting you to talk about your match of the week was the match where Triple H beat Booker T. Because that's the one I've been seeing this compared to this whole time.
Nah, except Booker T.
WrestleMania was.
2003. Except Booker T's always been at best an upper mid Carter. He was never. It was always a filler match. It was a filler. It was. Don't get me wrong. The racist stuff was horrible. And he should not have pedigreed him and then pinned him like an hour and a half later, you know. But Booker, that match was like the fifth most important match on the card because you had Angle Lesnar, Hogan McMahon, Rock Austin. Like, so the Triple H was just like a filler feud against a guy who was a mid-carder, upper mid-carder in Booker T. So that's not this comparison. The comparison here is Austin Michaels. That's the comparison. With the very important caveat that Okada can, walk without a limp, as opposed to Michaels. I don't mean to laugh, but as opposed to Michaels, who could not move. Watch that match. Poor Michaels. He can't. He's in traction basically the entire time.
Yeah. No, I've heard.
It's not pretty.
It's ugly. Yes.
It's ugly. Real ugly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I don't want to be having this conversation in 6 months, man.
Yeah.
And I love Okada. I adore him. He's one of my 5 favorite wrestlers on the planet right now. I think he's masterful.
Yeah. He's one of my 3 favorites. Top 3.
This is gone to the edge of the cliff, man, and it's time to jump off.
Dude is a delight. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, though. Like, after the Tanahashi White match, when I was still focusing more on the result than on the match itself, I was talking to some people and I said, this is really just a sad thing to see because Geto is so afraid of what will happen if he is forced to go 6 months without Tanahashi. Even though Okada and Naito have been putting up fucking masterful numbers night in and night out, the fact that he's so fucking set in his ways that he can't even fathom to risk going, a few months without the guy who is no longer the ace, but who they still call the ace because they're just so afraid to lose him. It's really a sad thing to see. And I still maintain that stance, even though, after, looking back now, it's like, yeah, well, the right result happened because that was not a good match, objectively speaking. But all the same, like, the ace needs time away, 100%.
The ace needs to force himself to go away.
Yeah,
he's fucking nuts, man.
He is. He's bananas.
He's nuts.
He's bananas. And then from there, we need to get. We need to see this company take the next step because growth isn't just as important as positive results. There needs to be growth at the same time as positive results. They've had these positive results for a year straight now, longer than that, even 2 years straight. 2 years straight now. This company has just been doing better and better and better and better and better. But we're at the point right now where it's becoming more and more clear that where we are now versus where we are last year, or versus where we were last year at Wrestle Kingdom 11, is a much smaller distance from the same measure of where we were at Wrestle Kingdom 11 versus where we were at Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Yeah.
Like, the company moved miles from the space of Wrestle Kingdom 10 to Wrestle Kingdom 11. And then moved maybe a mile from Wrestle Kingdom 11 to Wrestle Kingdom 12. The growth has shrunk noticeably.
It is an interesting time, my friend, and I'm excited for the Dash, which I'm excited to read the results of tomorrow when I wake up, because I will not be up for the Dash because I have to go to bed. I have to go to bed.
I need to sleep a normal night's sleep.
Yeah, exactly. You need to take like 2 shots of NyQuil and go to bed. Is what you need. So I don't know. It is interesting times in New Japan. We are WWE heavy the next few weeks.
Yes.
So we will be able to look at New Japan again when New Beginning rolls around mid-February.
Yeah, I mean we'll recap the Dash next week. But
but we're going to be very WWE heavy. A lot of
our focus is going to be WWE and other promotions for the next few weeks, especially WWE.
Yeah.
As you said,
it's been very Japan heavy. So, and the Rumble's coming up, and the Rumble's always a blast. Not a great match, but it's always fun. It's super fun.
Yes.
So, and you know what? I mean, sometimes it's about having fun, right? Mm-hmm. Wrestling isn't always serious business. You know? So it's guys and ladies in tights pretending to fight.
Just don't tell that to the idiots on Twitter. They'll probably lose their shit at you saying, "Oh my god, it's super serious business."
It's fucking Twitter. You know how I feel. You know, Dean Ambrose, the smartest motherfucker in this business. No Twitter, no Facebook, no Instagram. I'll say, shit. That guy's got it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Good on him. Props to him. So,
he doesn't like cameras.
Good for him. God bless.
Yeah.
Love him. Love him for that.
Good deal.
I got nothing else. Show was good. Show was good. I don't mean to nitpick. The show itself was good. I mean, the main event was a sour note in my view, but
it was not as good as Wrestle Kingdom 11 was. Well, it was a good show.
It did not have the highs that Wrestle Kingdom 11 had, but it also was more consistent, I believe. The parts that I saw. And again, I've only seen about 60% of the show. So
yeah.
I'm kind of going out on a limb there. But yeah. I mean, other than
not a far limb to go on, though.
Yeah, it was more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like the undercard of Wrestle Kingdom 11, I don't remember being anywhere near as good as this undercard was. But the main events at this were not as good, anywhere near as good as the main events of Wrestle Kingdom 11 were.
No, not at all.
So I don't know. It depends on what you value more. Do you want more peaks and valleys? Or do you want more consistency?
Yep.
So your mileage may vary. Chris, take us home.
All right. As I said at the top of the show, next week, episode 44. Mister Doctor Senju from Shootin da Breeze will be joining us. We'll talk about his first-person perspective view on Wrestle Kingdom 12, live from the Tokyo Dome. We'll recap New Year's Dash. We'll talk about the past couple of weeks in WWE and what we have seen from them as we start to head full tilt into the Rumble. And we will talk about the Women of Honor tournament as the field begins to take shape. I think most of the field has already been identified. There may be some more. We'll also talk a little bit about WWE's Mixed Match Challenge, which has started to make waves on social media, and ask ourselves the quintessential question with WWE, which is this going to mean anything? So be sure to come back and listen in next week for episode 44 with all of that. Be sure to follow all of our podcasting brethren, our partners in Los Ingobernables de Podcast, as I said, Shootin da Breeze with Mister Doctor Senju and Taker's Minion on Saturday mornings. At 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to check in with them. If you want a early listen to Mr. Dr. Senju's first-person recap of Wrestle Kingdom, because we give his own show first-time rights, because that's only fair. You can check them out this Saturday. They will have the first time going through his first-person recap of Wrestle Kingdom, along with all the other excellent content that they offer on their show. Really happy to have them as podcasting partners and friends. Coming soon, We also have the Violent Wrestling Podcast featuring Ambrose Alley and Prince Moxley Lopez. I believe that they have been hampered by some technical issues recently with Mox's internet, but they will be coming soon, and we will let you know as soon as they have worked those things out and gotten themselves live on the air. You can also follow all of our friends at The Married Marks, Not Your Demographic, and Face Like Feministas on all major podcasting syndication locations. Please feel free to let us know about any other excellent wrestling podcasts that you may find or be a fan of that you would like us to check out and possibly mention as endorsements on our show, as we are always happy to find more excellent wrestling content of high quality and caliber within this sphere of podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at 2guys1sport, number 2, number 1 in the handle. You can also find us on iTunes at the link listed below the video. You can follow us there, subscribe, give us a rating, give us a recommendation, and let everybody you know that follows wrestling to give us a listen, because we want to have more people here in the audience, because all of you help to make this show better because of your presence here. Thank you for continuing to be a part of the show. That is it. George?
As always, thank you for hanging out with us on a Thursday. If you are in the northeastern part of the country, please stay safe.
Yep.
Make sure you have lots of bourbon and chicken soup. 2 essentials for life. Bourbon and chicken soup.
Yeah.
As always, thanks for hanging out with us. That's Chris. I'm George. This is 2 Guys, 1 Sport. We will talk to you again next week. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Don't work yourselves into a shoot, as we always say.
Don't. Tempting to this morning, bright and early. I was all pissy, and I was like, wait a second, it's just wrestling. So
Good man.
I do have my moments. But feel better, my friend. Go take some NyQuil and go to bed.
Thank you very much. I certainly will do so, because episode 44. No. Crap, I fucked it up.
Oh, damn it.
I was a week early. Episode 43 is in the books. The books are now open on 2018. Welcome to the new year, friends. We'll see you
next week. Good night, everybody.